Rocky Long and the San Diego State Aztecs football team will stay home for the Poinsettia Bowl against Navy. And here is the coach from San Diego State's football team, Rocky Long, on Scott and BR on the Mighty 1090. Hi, Coach.
Hey, guys. How are you?
We're doing really good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Love to hear your comments, about clowning and stuff. I'm not sure what that word means either.
Yeah, it's kind of a new thing that the kids use that I'm just trying to pick up,
Yeah.
Trying.
Well, you're up on the new things. I know that.
Well, I got young
He
kids
thinks
at home.
he is.
Yeah,
He thinks he is. He's not really.
He thinks he is. That's right.
I'm like, listen, I got a high schooler and a middle schooler and a couple of elementary schoolers, so I'm kind of getting it from all angles.
Yeah, you might be the only one I know that knows that stuff.
Clowning.
Well, he's been on the receiving end so many times.
Right, I've been clowned.
Good point.
So, Rock, are you pleased with the decision and the way it all shook out that the Aztecs will stay here in San Diego and play in Qualcomm Stadium for the Poinsettia Bowl?
Yeah, I'm really happy, and I think probably the majority of our team is really happy about it because we've been there before. A lot of the guys have been there. 2 years ago, we played BYU there, and we even have a few guys that played. They didn't actually play in the game, but they were on the team when we played Navy, I think 4 years ago. And we've been to now 5 straight. This will be our 5th, so we've been to 4 bowl games, and they treat us as well or better than most. And all the family and friends get to come watch them play, and we know the weather will be good, and we can't have it any better other than maybe being in the playoffs someday.
Yeah, well, and not to mention undefeated inside Qualcomm Stadium this year, so
Home game.
it's exactly
Home
what
game,
it is.
Coach.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a home game. We're used to the stadium, but last time we played Navy there, it was our home field, but we were the visiting team because the majority of the crowd was for Navy.
Well, I'll take a full stadium
So will I.
Yep.
of half, if not more, Navy fans, just to create the atmosphere and the environment.
I agree totally. I hope that there's a whole bunch of people there, and I don't care who they root for as long as they're in the stadium rooting for somebody.
Making noise, yes.
All you got to do is ask the Chargers what it's like
Yeah.
when the stadium's full, but half the crowd is there for the other team.
Yeah, I've noticed that because sometimes we've been in hotels and people there, it seemed like about half the people going to the game in different colored outfits.
Yeah. So Coach, what happens now, today being, what is today's date, December 8th, and December 23rd, which is the game, what goes on between now and then? I mean, are you in practice like today?
We're going to practice tomorrow, and then we give them a day off, and then we practice, and give them a day off, and then we practice all the way up until about a week before the game, and then we start actually into a game week preparation.
And how hard is it to get a scouting report together, I mean, on such limited time?
Well, it's not real hard because we have all their games. They have all our games. We want to see their most important game, which is this weekend. They're playing Army this weekend, so we want to see that one because those guys work on each other all year long. Yeah. So Army will have a great plan against them, and we want to see what Army's going to do. So after the Army game, we'll have a complete set of film on them, and then we'll start game planning for them.
Mm-hmm. Coach, last time Navy was here and played against San Diego State in the Poinsettia Bowl, I don't know why, but I just feel like I remember the game being like emotional. Like after the game, I feel like the Aztec players had a great appreciation for the Navy players, and I think everybody sort of understood Navy Town, Naval Academy. These guys are different. They're going to serve in the military. Am I wrong on that, or did I kind of feel that vibe?
No, you're completely right about that. I think that's we talk about it all the time. Even when we play Air Force, we talk about it to our players all the time. And a couple of years ago, we played Army here and played Army on the road back-to-back. And we talk about it all the time. Part of it's our city being a Navy town, but we talk about those guys being special guys. When they're done with college, they're not going to the NFL. They're going to protect us, and we appreciate them doing those sort of things for us. Plus, we know what kind of guys they are, competitive guys that will never give up, and they're going to try to pound you into the ground. So, no, we educate our players on that, and we have smart kids on our team. They understand how important those guys are to us.
And when you're working against any of the Service Academy teams, I mean, the discipline that these guys have, I mean, it's like nowhere you'll find it anywhere, any place else, Coach.
No, they execute really well, and like I said earlier, they are tough nuts, and it doesn't matter what goes right or wrong. You're going to get their best shot, and they never back up. They're always coming forward. They never give up. So, and we appreciate that, and the majority of our kids, the older kids in our program, understand how important they are.
All right, Coach Rocky Long and the Aztecs going bowling for the 5th straight year and taking on Navy in the Poinsettia Bowl December 23rd at Qualcomm Stadium. Hey, Coach, before you go, I want to ask your opinion. Do you think that the voters, the committee, got the Final Four right this past weekend?
No, I don't. But I knew if they could possibly do it, Ohio State was going to be in, because in the world of college football, SEC is number 1 and the Big Ten is political power is number 2. So they were asking for big time trouble if they kept the Big Ten team out of it.
So wait, so you think that Ohio State was the one of 4 teams that did not belong?
Well, I don't know how. No, I don't think Florida State belongs, but I don't know how you can keep them out since they're undefeated.
Now, I'm just curious, why would Florida State have not belonged, considering they are the defending national champs? They haven't been. They've won, 28 or 29 straight games in a row, something like that. They've got the defending Heisman Trophy winner, and they're their conference champions. Why would Florida State, in your opinion, not be in the Final Four?
Because if you look at how the rest of them played throughout the season, they played at a much higher level. Most of them, not Baylor, but the other ones played a tougher schedule from top to bottom. They played a tougher schedule. But, see, that's why I don't believe in 4 teams. If you're going to do it right, put 8 of them in there.
No kidding.
I mean, 4 teams doesn't get it done. And I know that it made it exciting, and everybody has an opinion, just like I have an opinion. The 4 teams they have in there are deserving of it. But I think there's a couple, 3 other teams that are deserving of it too and got left out. But the 4 teams are deserving.
But I think I think TCU is a former Mountain West team that has overtaken Texas and Texas A&M in that state. And
which is hard to do, which is really hard to do.
Right, and so they don't have the national cachet that those other schools have. That's number one. Baylor they're sort of an upstart. They're not traditionally in college football what Ohio State is. I definitely understood why Ohio State was better for the Final Four than Baylor or TCU. I don't know that they're more deserving. I just know that the people that think of this in dollars and cents were considering, I think, history and tradition rather than who the best teams are right now. But then again, between Baylor and TCU, how do you choose? Because they're co-champions, they don't have a championship game, and one beat the other.
Well, see, you said all the right things. I mean, that's why I think the committee had such a problem. And I think the 4 teams they pick are deserving of it. Everybody has their favorites on who should be in there, but the 4 teams are deserving. And they like you said, they have tradition now. They have big-time matchups. They've got Heisman Trophy and possible Heisman Trophy winners against each other. They got 2 great coaches against one another. Mm-hmm. They got the perfect TV setup. If you're going to have a playoff, I don't think 4 teams does it, and I think it'll be 8 teams real soon. And I agree with everything you said. I mean, having Ohio State in there is traditional. Having Alabama's in there is traditional. Where maybe Oregon being in there is not traditional, and Florida State's not traditional either. So I think they made it for TV, and it's a perfect TV setup.
Coach, do you ever see the day where they could widen and expand the field to 16? I mean, get something close to where, everybody nationally is really into this thing.
Well, I wish it would go there.
Yeah.
I don't know if TV will allow it to go there, but it could go there. All the other divisions, Division I AA, Division II, Division III, right, they all play 16-team tournaments. It can be done. The only way it's going to be done is if they see an ability to make more money than they're going to make with 4 or 8.
Right.
Let me ask you guys this question, Coach, before you go. Rocky Long, who's going to win this college football national championship?
I think Alabama.
Billy Ray, who do you think?
Alabama. What do you got?
Florida State.
Really?
Yep. You see, Florida State's totally underestimated.
I think the best entertainment value comes from Florida State.
Yeah. But you see people at 13-0 and winning a ton of close games, and people think that, well, hey, man, they just barely beat Florida, or they just barely beat Miami, or they just barely beat Georgia Tech. I think the ACC is totally underrated, and I think that teams that know how to win close games are going to ultimately win in pressure situations. That's just my opinion.
That's a good opinion.
I'll take Florida State. Strong. You guys got Alabama. Coach, we look forward to talking to you in advance of the Poinsettia Bowl. Thank you and congrats.
Now, great, guys. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Always.
Thanks, Rock.